Hey guys, welcome back to the next part in this channel. In this channel, welcome to the next part or the next video in this channel. Today we're gonna continue with our little guy right here, which is this creature that we've been working on. Now, I know. Yesterday it was a little bit weird, right? Like I always find it a little bit difficult to share this kind of things with people in the internet because this looks horrible. Like, this guy's like, okay, it's it's a nice sculpture, but what about it? This doesn't look like something that we would use in a game or anything. It's just the beginning. I want to share the whole process because there's also this sort of tendency in the 3D world for people to only show the final result, like the final portfolio piece or the render. And yeah, of course, it's going to be mind blowing, but it doesn't show all of the work that goes into it. So in this series, we're actually showing everything, every single step of the way. So let's get going. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to start polishing some of the shapes, like finding the character in this guy, like finding what kind of things I want this guy to be, right? And I was doing a little bit of research off camera during the day, and I found these guys, the baby rhinos, which are super cute. Like, look at these guys. Aren't they adorable? Like, they're great. I would love to pet one of these guys. And I think we're gonna go with something like that. I think we're gonna go with this sort of like a rhino shape thing. So the first thing to notice is the mouth. So this mouth right here, it starts to look a little bit impish. Like a little demon or something. So I'm gonna go back to a sort of more traditional like animal mouth, which is gonna give me, I hope, a more like a traditional look. I'm gonna add like a couple of nostrils here. There we go. That looks good. You're gonna have to excuse my dog, which is doing a lot of noise right now. He's been running all day, so there we go. Look at that. That already looks a little bit better, right? Looks a little bit more cutesy, which I think it's good for the kind of thing that we're doing. Now, I'm definitely gonna push the mouth out a little bit to create this. Probably make it smaller. Like usually in this sort of things, you wanna exaggerate proportions. So in this case, I'm gonna go for like a really small mouth and this like really big eye, which is gonna give it an interesting look to say the least, right? So let's see where this thing goes. And now it's time that we start working on volumes. And volume is one of those things that I always urge my students to be very mindful of. Because they tend to, or people tend to just add clay on top of clay on top of clay, and they don't really like polish their volume. So the shapes that you're trying to portray are not really there, okay? So I'm definitely gonna add a little bit more like mass here on the front. I'm thinking about creating this sort of like hoops, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so forms, we can define forms as the basic shapes that we know, like circle, square, triangle, cylinder. Well, actually 3D figures, so that would be sphere, cylinder, cube, and like a torus, those kind of things. And the reason why we want to do that is because, for instance, on the snout here, on the front side, I want this to have like this sort of like cubic shape, right? Like a cube. So I need to make sure that from the top view we have this cube shape, from the front view we have this cube shape, and from the front view as well. Now I do think I want to add a little bit, I don't know, should we do like an underbite or like an overbite? Let's try an overbite first. And I want to have like a droopy lips, so something like this. See how what I like to do, I personally use clay buildup a lot. I know not a lot of people do. A lot of people do clay tubes or clay, like the normal clay. I personally love using clay buildup because it's faster. And as you can see, what I like to do is it's kind of like a sketch. I like to sketch with my form, and I start adding the volumes that I want to add in those sort of like sketch fashion. Look at this; those little chicks are super cute. I like that. I think we're getting into something interesting here. Now let's add the mouth here real quick. And let's add the lower lip. So again, see how I'm sketching up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm just sketching the general shape. He kind of reminds me of like a bull. So it's kind of like a bull as well, which I think it's kind of interesting with the rhino because they should be some sort of like cousins. No, not cousins, but they're kind of similar, right? Like I don't know, they remind me of the same element. Now for the cyclop here, for the eye. We definitely need to have like the eyelid, so I'm gonna sculpt a quick eyelid right there, and there's definitely gonna be like a fold on top here, and we also need to have like a bottom side here. So I'm gonna create like the corners of the eye. In this case, we have two corners. Well, we also have two corners on the normal eye. In this case, it's gonna be a little bit more obvious because this eyelid is just gonna be like super big. And there we go. We're creating this nice little creature right here. I'm definitely gonna open the eye a little bit more. Like I want him to be kind of like happy, not droopy and sad. So there we go. Damien Standard is a great brush to start working here with this sort of like effect. And as you can see, we're working with very little geometry. That's also one mistake that a lot of people do when doing some creature creation and stuff. They would go a little bit too high on the resolution, and that will make it a little bit difficult to focus on the forms of your character before you focus on the rest of the elements. So that's interesting. That looks cute. Let me fix this thing right here. Oh, I'm just gonna use my clay buildup. There we go. Just build that back up. There we go. Now, of course, we're gonna smooth because this is supposed to be like a baby creature. So I don't want this thing to be like super old or anything. So it's gonna be like super smooth. It's still gonna have like wrinkles and stuff. That doesn't mean that we're not gonna have wrinkles. We're eventually gonna add wrinkles to the mouth and to other parts. But we want him to look like a baby rhino right here. So now let's talk about the arms right here, and let's see what we can do. Now, originally I did this very like traditional human arms, but animals usually have a little bit of a different effect. So in the case of rhinos have this very cool thing. You can see it right here, where it's like a fold. Look at this guy. See that fold right there? And I think that fold is pretty cool. Now, originally I thought that this guy was gonna be or I was thinking about this guy making him like furry, right? Like with hair and stuff. But maybe we can make him like a little bit more like plates. Now you can see that this plate goes all the way back. So I'm actually gonna have to add a little bit more volume back here to create the plate. And we can cross the plate here on the back. So then we can create this element right here. There we go. By the way, I figured something out about my microphone. I thought it was sounding like way too low. I had to like punch my volume all the way up to properly hear myself when I was doing the editing and the reviews. So let me know if the audio is working a little bit better. The thing that I found, in case you guys have something similar, this Logitech hub, which is where everything, my peripherals are working. On the microphone, the input gain was really low. Even though my gain on the actual microphone was like at the proper level, the input on this little app right here was way too low. So let me show you. It was like this. So probably you are hearing me super low now, and I figured out that 80 is like the golden spot, because if I go higher, it's just way too much. So if that happens to you guys, well, now you know where to find it. See, I've been sharing some technical things on this channel. So there we go. Let's keep going with the plates here. So I'm gonna create another plate right around here. That looks chubby. It looks like a chubby creature. On the front, let me bring my reference. So I think we need a little bit more neck. So I'm actually gonna give him a little bit more neck, because I do think he's looking a little bit too weird. So I'm gonna mask this out, invert the mask, and W. And if you click this guy right here, you're gonna be moving all of the subtools at the same time. So just a little bit, just like this. Just so that we can have, again, something here, like a little bit of a cut. So that we understand that there's a little bit of a division between the head and the rest of the body. I think this creature is gonna look a little bit better. Now, I also need to think about locomotion, because if we eventually want to, for instance, rig this character or animate it, I need to make sure that this thing moves in a nice little way. So I'm definitely going to give him like this sort of like very round, funny shape, kind of like a frog. So I'm definitely going for this like comedic vibe, right? Like I'm not pulling any punches on that regard. I'm definitely going for this super fun little guy. So let's add more stuff there. And then here with my Damien Standard, I'm just going to start polishing like the folds of the neck, so that again we can separate, or we can see the separation from both elements. Eventually we're going to have to like fix the insertion for the horns right there. And here is where I would again move the arms, or the legs in this case. Well, arms, legs, they're pretty similar, right? And the reason why I need to move them is because right now they're in an angle that's not gonna be useful for me eventually for like rigging. So it might not look as natural, because usually animals do not stand like this, but from a rigging perspective, it's better to have everything like on this sort of effect. Let's now turn that off so that we don't modify. There we go. So now we're gonna keep the arms like really straight down, and that's also gonna allow me to add maybe a little bit more volume on this area to really punch this out. Now if again I check this, guys, like the legs, the front legs are really like thick. So I definitely I'm gonna use my inflate brush, and very softly, going through all sides, I'm gonna give him some stronger arms so that he can carry all of that mass, right? Because he's a very chunky dude, very chunky, like a little animal. Now you can see here that I think rhinos do have like knees, but these things right here are different from arms. So I'm gonna look for a gorilla arms, just to see how this looks. And we're gonna use this as a reference. And this is the process, guys. I know that it might not be the most fun. Usually when I try to record this videos for you guys, I try to make it so that it's always interesting and stuff. But sometimes it's just a little bit difficult to show you all of the process in the easiest way. I could do like time lapse showing you the finished product, but I think it's really helpful for you guys to see the whole thing. So here what I'm gonna do is I really like this sort of like super furry like down areas here, so I'm gonna add more volume here. It's not necessarily muscle, it's just like the hands, right? Like some fur on top of the hands. So maybe this guy has a combination of like plates on the top and little hands on the bottom. See that? I think this is starting to look a little bit better. Now one thing that we're definitely missing are some ears, so I'm gonna use my snake hook here. BSH is a shortcut for snake hook. And I'm just gonna, there we go. He's like a little cow. I love him. He's very cute. I'm starting to like this guy. And that's what happens with the whole process. Like you start with something and then it just keeps evolving. It just keeps evolving until you get something very, very nice. I think I'm actually gonna change my initial idea of hands and change this into hoofs. Just because I think it goes with the shape a little bit better. So for instance, what I'm gonna do here, and this is cool because now, since you've stayed all this long, we're here for 10 minutes, so thank you to all of those who stay here. We know how long each one of you stays. Well, not each one of you, but we know that some people just click along, maybe just tap on here and there and see if they can find something. If you see the whole video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And not only that, you're getting a lot of information. So I'm using Trim Dynamic here, and I'm flattening the hoops. See that? And now we're creating, this has now changed from being like it started like a weird frog kind of thing, and now it's like a little bull, right? So I think it's fine because in the savannah we have the buffaloes, right? So we're now into like buffalo territory. But I think it's gonna look interesting. So yeah, I like this guy. I think this is looking fine. I think the proportions are way better. I don't want to change the like the backside here. I'm definitely gonna have to like give him a little bit more mass over here, like on the foots and stuff. But I don't want to change the proportion. I really like this funny shape, like a miniature, like a compressed like buffalo kind of thing. I think that's fun. But yeah, this looks interesting. Should we give him like a front horn? Okay, there's this thing called Sculptris Pro. I'm gonna show you real quick what this does because I'm really annoyed by the fact that every time I'm changing this, it asks me if I want to do Sculptris Pro. So Sculptris Pro is a method, and aren't you glad you stayed all the way to this point? It's this little thing right here. So Sculptris Pro, what it does is usually when we're sculpting in Dynamesh, right? Like if I want to do a change, you know that the topology is going to be like modified, and we need to recalculate to get proper topology now to continue working. That's usually the way we do. However, if we were to turn on Sculptris Pro, what's going to happen is as we move along, you can see that ZBrush is recalculating everything. You can see that we don't have to Dynamesh. We can, of course, but we don't have to because ZBrush is already recalculating. So it is handy. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm just not super used to it. I'm thinking about like adding like a little horn here. But I think that's way too much, right? So yeah, but if we wanted to add like anything, again, like maybe not one tail, but like 3 tails, Sculptris Pro is really cool because as we move these things around, or any brush at that matter, like as we change the topology, Sculptris Pro, as you can see, triangulates everything and it creates new topology for us to work. And at any point you can just write Dynamesh and that's it. So some people like to do that. Another one of the cool things about Sculptris Pro is when you're working with small details, like if I want to add like wrinkles here, you can see that it immediately added the density and definition that I need to create the wrinkles here. So you might not see it like there, but I can start working with like very fine wrinkles. And as I add them, Sculptris Pro is adding more and more active points without me having to recalculate, and that's giving me some nice effect. Now moving my, I'm trying to find like the perfect spot for my microphone because it's annoying me every time I hit it with the Wacom tablet. I've changed the whole station. You guys probably haven't seen the whole thing. I'll see if I can have like a picture and show you next time. But I've changed the whole station. I'm standing up now, and the desk is a little bit interesting to work with. So yeah, that's Sculptus Pro. Again, if you want to use it, fine. Just be mindful that every time you do a stroke, it will add more polygons. So your active points might go up like really high, really fast. So just be careful with that. And yeah, I just want to resolve the back foots before we finish this video today, which again I'm really happy with how this guy is turning. I think it's fun. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of anatomy here, a little bit of volume to add like the this would be the knee. Here's a quick anatomy lesson for you guys whenever you're doing creatures. Usually in the human body we have the femur going down, and then we have the knee. And then we have the tibia and the, what's the name in English? Tibia and, I can't remember. In Spanish we call it peroné. And then we have the foot. And the foot is divided into 3 areas, right? We have the heel, we have the metatarsals, which go beyond the heel bones and all of the ankle bones, and then the toes. So animals do something very similar. They're gonna have their femur, they're gonna have a knee, right here. They're gonna have their lower leg, which is this one right here, and then the metatarsals are gonna be this little like bump that you usually see here, and then this super long section going from that little like joint all the way down. Those are the these are like the heel bones, and then these are the metatarsals, which are going beyond the bones. And then what animals usually do is it's like if they're standing on their tippy toes. So this is the fingers. So usually animals are standing on their tippy toes. So as you can see, the anatomy is very similar. It's just as if we were to bend our foot and then just stand on our tippy toes. Of course, our metatarsals would have to be like super long. So this guy right here is the upper leg. This would be the lower leg. And then I would expect to see like a little like lump here, like a little bone poking out, like right about there. And he will be again standing like on his tippy toes like this. There we go. Now I'm wondering, let me just check real quick. I know we're almost at the 20-minute mark. Again, thank you for staying. So water buffalo, I think that's the name of this guys. Yeah, this guys. So we're getting closer to a water buffalo. And yeah, you can see that on the back they have hoofs. So it's hoofs on the front and hoofs on the back. I'm gonna mix it up and I'm gonna have foot on the back and hoops on the front. That means that this guy can really hold his ground, right? Like he can really like grab the floor behind him and just like stand his ground and attack whatever's coming at him. I definitely don't like this triple tails. I'm just gonna delete hidden. There we go. And with trim dynamic, just patch this up. And there we go. So 20 more minutes, guys. 20 more minutes in this series. Again, I'm doing this series in short bursts so that if you are following along or you're doing your own creature, you don't feel pressure to work like for 2-3 hours. This is a creature that I would take easily like 4 or 5 hours to like to really polish. So as you can see, we did 15-20 minutes yesterday, 15-20 minutes today, and we're in a really good position. Like compared to what we had at the beginning. Let me save this real quick. And let me show you. Let's compare what we had before and what we have today. And it's just 20 minutes of moving things along. So let's create a new folder here. We need to find a way, but we're gonna call him cute bull. It's like a bull, and let's call this cute bull. It's gonna be 002. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, this is what we have. Super horrible, right? Like extremely horrible. Like look at this. If you show me this and I see this in a YouTube thumbnail, I'm gonna be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like I totally understand you guys. I totally understand you. If you didn't see yesterday's video because you saw what I was doing and you were like, what the hell is Abraham doing? Well, this is what we're doing. We're polishing a concept. We're moving from something that doesn't look like much to something that looks a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you back tomorrow. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and by the way, the Marmoset course is completely ready. We're completely finished. We're just uploading it. We're definitely gonna have a video when we release it, so make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to give us a like, share, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you back tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.